What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABCs. When you guys get into renting out your Airbnb or your VRBO, your short-term rental, whatever it is, you're going to get a lot of questions from people from, where you would recommend them eating, where they can go to the grocery store, where they can get firewood, where the local attractions are. And you can answer or not answer as much of these as you want. Remember, you're not their travel agent. You're just the person renting them the place to stay. But you're going to encounter these three questions all the time, and I want you to be prepared for them, and I want you to know what to do and what I do. Because I'm in my second year of doing this, and so I've had several hundred stays over the course of that, almost 2 years coming up now. And when I've done this, I've learned these things. But more importantly than my experience is that I've networked with people who have done this for the better part of a decade or more, and I've collected all of these ideas from these folks, put them to use, and have had good experiences with it. And the three things that you're going to run into are discount seekers, early check-in or late check-out type of folks, and pets, service animals, and emotional support animals. And so we are going to discuss the ways that I handle all of these and how we automate the messaging and things like that. But what you really need to keep in mind with any of these is you always need to remember where we want to be and where our goals are. Keep those in focus. And, if you're like me, you're doing this as an investment, you want to try to make some money. We're looking to get paid. We're looking to get the property back in good condition with no damage beyond wear and tear and maybe the occasional, broken glass, things that happen on an everyday basis that aren't really a big deal. And then we want to end the entire thing with a 5-star review. No matter what platform that you're on, you want to have the highest reviews that you can. And on VRBO and Airbnb, basically anything under a 5-star review is a bad review. And that may all sound very selfish, like it's all about just getting paid, having no damage, and getting 5-star reviews. But that 5-star review represents a guest that had a great time, that everything worked properly, that it was seamless, and that the place that they stayed integrated well with their vacation and with the way that you portrayed the place on your listing or whatever. And so before we get into discounts, be sure to go down there and subscribe so that we can grow this channel and you can see the content that comes out in the future. Hit the like button. That really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And we're going to get right into discount seekers. You're going to end up getting these folks all the time. People are always going to be asking for a discount. They're usually going to fall into like the military, first responder, teacher type of things. These public servants that typically do get discounts places. Now the thing is with us, within our little company here, within our investor circle that we use, just us, not my people I network with, we have all of those in there. We have military, we have first responders, we have teachers. And what we know is that there are plenty of people within all of those occupations and lines of service that you don't want to rent to. There's plenty of folks that do. The thing is that if you are looking for discount, or if someone is looking for a discount, what I have found and what other folks have found, years before me, is that these people tend to be more problematic than folks that just go ahead and pay whatever it is. And I have no problem asking or having people ask for discounts, and we have an automated message for this that says basically something like, dear so-and-so, our pricing is dynamic, so we offer the best prices that we can all the time, and we do not offer specific discounts for anything. Most folks accept that and move on. They either move on to another property or they just move on and book and say, thanks, or I was just seeing if there was anything. But the issue is that some of them get an attitude. And this is why we don't discount, because a lot of these folks will start having this kind of entitlement type of thing where they feel as if they should be getting money off because of what they have elected to do for a living. And again, we are all these people, military, fire, and teacher. And so I have no problem saying no to giving discounts. Anytime that there's a discount seeker, I always say, do not accept that discount. Don't entertain that, no matter how slow it is for the year. Because if you get someone in, you make a couple $100, but they cause $1,000 or more in damage, you would be better off just not renting out at all. Now, on the flip side of that, if I want a discount, or if we want a discount, if you're we're short-term rental owners, or you're a potential short-term rental owner talking to me, It is okay if we want to discount. What I do is if I have what are called orphan days, which are days where someone makes a booking, there is a day that is not rented, and since my minimum booking date is 2 nights, there may be a single night, and then someone else books, another thing. And what I'll do is I will offer that to those folks at a 20% discount. That entices them to fill those days. It entices me to get some money. And these people have already booked, and there is no issue with them being discount seekers and causing problems. We are just offering them a discount. If there's some sort of problem with their stay, this is also a good time to offer them a discount or a refund of some sort, especially if they come in and something's dirty or whatever. You can refund their cleaning fee. If there is an amenity that doesn't work, like a hot tub, or you ran out of propane for your fireplace or whatever, then it is okay to go ahead and discount that after the fact, after they have booked at the full rate, because these things are going to help save your 5-star review so that you don't get dinged, and so that it gives the guest a good time and they feel like they're getting the value that they had expected with less amenities, but also costing less money. The next thing that you're going to get a lot is early check-ins or late checkouts. And early check-ins probably actually happen more often than discount seekers, and especially more often than late checkouts. This is highly common, especially if you have offered them an orphan day that they couldn't take advantage of, but now they know that your place is empty. And I don't necessarily discourage offering up orphan days to kind of avoid this, but it does tend to happen a little bit more with that. But you can deal with that as time goes by. We allow early check-ins as long as it's ready, and we don't charge anything for that. I am not the type of person that's going to nickel and dime people. Airbnb, VRBO, short-term rental hosts are sort of getting a bad reputation about nickel and diming people for every little thing, and the excessive checkout list as far as cleaning and such. And so that's not the experience that I want, and so I don't nickel and dime them. As long as the cabin is ready and it's not like 12 hours before or anything like that. If it's a reasonable request, we go ahead and allow the early check-in. There's a couple of things that we will never, do. We are not going to ever rush our cleaners to get a cabin ready to accommodate an early check-in. Our cleaners are valuable members of our team, and once you find good cleaners, you're going to want to treat them like gold, because it is a little bit hard to find good cleaners. But never rush them to try to get that early check-in. The thing is that this is an easy way to get started on a 5-star review. These folks have flown in or driven in to wherever you are. They've gone to the store. They just want to get on with their vacation, and they are there a little bit early. If it's ready, just let them in. You're not losing any revenue. You're not going to rent that night anyhow. You have to consider it from their point of view. Let's say that they arrive and they have nothing to do. Let's say your check-in time is 4 p.m. They get there at 2:30. They have nothing to do. They don't know anywhere they need to leave their stuff. Maybe they have groceries and it's Florida and it's hot and they have to keep it in an air-conditioned car. And you say it's not ready. You say they can't get in until 4. And so they sit there. Nobody shows up, and then all of a sudden at 4 p.m. it's ready. That is just going to put a sour taste in their mouth that you're just keeping them out of that place just on principle, and there's no real reason for it. So I don't charge people to get in early, and I let them in as long as it is ready. I don't rush my cleaners because it's a great way to get off on the right foot with your guests. On the other hand, late checkouts are an entirely different story, and I rarely approve a late checkout. And it goes back to cleaners and contractors. They have to get in and do their things. And when we're looking at an early check-in, they have already done all their stuff. The place is ready, and you can let them in. When you're looking at checking out, you're going to start interfering with their schedule. And depending on where your property might land in the cleaner schedule for that day, they may have 4 or 5 or 6 places that they need to get done between the hours of 10 and 4, which is, Gatlinburg cleaning times basically. And I'm not going to interfere with their schedule. You might be first on the list and, at 10 a.m. And if they're saying they want to check out at noon, then they have to redo all their stuff, or it may not even be possible. And if it's a turn, it needs to be done that day. Same thing with like pest control or handyman or anything like that. Our pest control is integrated into our scheduling software, our hospitable account. And so I don't even coordinate with them. They just look at that and they see when there's a turn, see when there's a break, and they look at it the day of. They go out and do our pest control once a month. This is why I I typically do not allow late checkouts except for very extenuating circumstances. If it's even possible, if there's an extenuating circumstance and I have a turn coming up that day, I'm like, you guys have to go. You can find a restaurant, go to a local attraction, whatever. If I do end up granting a late checkout, again, I just offer it up for free. It's probably not going to cost me any more money. And so that is a great way that if you do end up doing something like that, that you can secure that 5-star review right on the way out the door. I do, apologize that I can't do it. I make it as nice as possible. But in general, I do not do late checkouts. And then one of the last things that you're going to run into, and this seems to happen in waves, now that I mention it, I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of them, but I haven't had this happen in a while, is pets. Bringing pets, service animals, or emotional support animals. And basically the deal is if you're a pet-free place and someone wants to bring a straight-up pet, the answer is just no. Like, don't go against your rules. Say no, and then even go in and block a couple of the dates that they want, so they can't just book it and hope that they can sneak that pet in, because pets cause damage. Pets cause hair, especially dogs. I love my dog, but she gets hair everywhere, and it makes it a pain for the cleaners to clean up. And again, if your cleaners, you're last on their list for the day, and it's a 4 p.m. check-in, they get there at 2:30, and they have a ton of hair to clean up, you might miss that 4 p.m. check-in because you've let someone bring a pet in. And I have various ways of curtailing people bringing pets to my pet-free cabin. I have it in every interaction, from any type of inquiry, booking request, instant booking, booking confirmation. The check-in instruction says there's no pets. There's a $300 fee if you bring a pet. I've never collected on it. It's just kind of an idle threat. In the middle of the photo roll, I have a no pets, no smoking photo that goes right in there, and that has really cut down on the amount of pets snuck in from when I first started to now. I rarely have a pet that snuck in. If it's a service animal or an emotional support animal, that's when you kind of run into sticky situations. And you need to check the different rules of the platforms that you're on and your locations rules. There are certain locations in the United States that have rules as far as what you can and can't do with emotional support animals and service animals. And they kind of break down as the service animal is up here, the emotional support animal is down here, because the service animal performs a specific task, like, might be a seeing eye dog or whatever. I think, most folks are familiar with these types of things. And so you basically can't deny a service animal. That's pretty much the way it is, and I don't think that you can even charge a pet fee for that, because these are supposed to be basically a part of the person, essentially. And they're supposed to be extremely well trained, housebroken, the whole deal. They basically just operate with the person. An emotional support animal can be denied in a lot of areas. Again, consult where your Airbnb is, consult the platform that it is. So except in certain areas. But the thing is that people can lie. It is very easy for anyone just to say that an emotional support animal is a service animal, and there's very little documentation. And you can even get fake certificates online and such. Unless you want to be short-term rental FBI, you're probably going to have to just go forward under the assumption that it is a legit service animal and that you can't deny it and you can't charge any extra fees for them. So this is what I do. Our places are all pet free. And the reason for that is because they cause damage. They cause messes, and there are allergy concerns. And my spouse has allergens to dogs, even though we have one, cats, and all sorts of other things. And some people have even worse allergic reactions. So when I say that my place is pet free, I want to put that out there, not just to keep people from bringing pets, but also to let people know there should not be pets, and there should, at least not in a large fashion, in our property. So if they do have those concerns, that it's not a problem for them. So what I tell folks that reach out and say, hey, can we bring an emotional service animal? Can we bring a service animal? I just tell them this. I say, listen, I'm happy to accommodate your service animal, because a lot of cases I have to accommodate that service animal. I said, but here are the rules that go along with that. The animals must be housebroken. They must be well behaved. They can never be left alone in the house. And this is the one that usually gets them, because if it is not a service animal, if it's an emotional support animal, a lot of people want to leave them at home. And the way I see it is, if you're going to bring these types of things, you are always going to need them with you, and so you can never leave them alone in the cabin, and that you must clean up after the pet or the service animal. We're not bringing in pets at all. And then what I always tell them at the end, and I tell them that it's because of allergy concerns, and I always say that even though we would be happy to accommodate them, they would probably be more comfortable in a pet-friendly property. And there's a lot of reasons for that as well. They're probably not going to have to be hyper vigilant, that they're not jumping on things, that they're not chewing on stuff, that they're not peeing on the floors, that they're not getting hair all over the place. It's just, I think it really is better if you find a pet-friendly property that you can really be comfortable on your vacation. And there are a lot of them out there, and those folks market to those people that have pets in order to get those bookings. Those are the three biggest questions that you're going to run into in your short-term rental investing career. And there are a lot of ways that you guys can automate messages in order to deal with these without actually having to, physically interact, physically type, physically do anything with these folks. On the early check-ins and on the discounts, I have things that automatically reply. I don't even have to get my phone out. I don't have to do anything. And we can go over, automated messages and how to come up with your own custom automated messages in a future video. If you subscribe down below, hit the like button to keep this channel growing. And guys, I appreciate you watching today. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I love getting your questions and comments. I will see you on the next one.